What's going on, fighting game fans? It's me, the Psycho Ripper from the KO Force. I'm doing another type of Mortal Kombat tutorial today. This isn't actually a character tutorial, this is a conceptual tutorial I'm doing. Now, it's basically just going to be audio and just some subtitles to highlight my main points, because the discussion I'm going over kind of is difficult for me to practically get the type of footage I need. So, just bear with it. This is more of a audio lesson for you people. And what I'm talking about is, in case you couldn't tell from the title, managing your meter in Mortal Kombat. Because properly doing that is going to give you an edge over your opponent if you know when to use your meter, when to burn it, when to use x-rays and stuff like that, because if you just waste your meter, you're going to be put in such a serious disadvantage. So, when in this discussion, I'll go over basically each of the 3 ways you can use your meter and the practicality and when you should or should not use them. So, let's go ahead and get started with the easiest use of your meter, which only takes one part of your meter out of the 3, and that's your enhanced moves. Now, every single character has enhanced moves, and like I said, each one of them requires one part of your bar. Now, what's interesting about this game is, in like Street Fighter, your EX moves and stuff usually just do more damage or cause a hard knockdown or something like that. The properties that are given to enhanced moves in Mortal Kombat for a good portion of the moves completely change the use of that move, make it safer or whatever. So in a way, it's kind of like how EX moves function, but some have different properties. Like, for example, Jax's dashing punch is just a normal dashing punch when you do it, but the enhanced version not only adds super armor, but it creates a second hit which acts as a grab. Or, let's say, another good example would be a Smoke's enhanced smoke cloud, aka a smoke bomb. This normal move is pretty small and only hits grounded opponents. The enhanced version not only does slightly more damage, but creates a gigantic pillar of a hitbox, so you can hit an opponent while they're in air. This makes comboing a hell of a lot easier. But you need to also be aware that there are some enhanced moves that are not very useful. So, for example, most of the projectiles in the game, their enhanced versions aren't necessarily going to benefit you other than a small damage boost. So, usually when it comes to that, I won't bother using enhanced projectiles depending on the character, because some characters like Jax and Stryker have good projectile moves when they're enhanced. Others like Liu Kang's Dragon Fireball or whatever you want to call it, those just give a small damage boost and really aren't worth burning your meter. The best way to know when to use enhanced moves are basically to go to practice and learn what each one is like damage-wise, try to work them into combos and such, and then certain other moves, try using them in a few battles just to get familiar with when's a good time to use them, when's practical. Really, with enhanced moves, it's just a matter of learning when to use them on certain matchups. But, like I said, you need to keep an eye out for all the enhanced moves and what functions they have, because some are more useful than others. Next we have our breakers. Breakers require 2 part of your meter, so you take a huge chunk of meter out when you break a combo, but it can ultimately benefit you in the end. Now, I remember when I started playing this game, I was very guilty of the minute I get hit in any combo, I'd start burning the meter, just to break out of it. This necessarily isn't a good idea. See, when it comes to breaking a combo, here's what I want to pay attention to. Usually, you'll know when you want to break your combos just from the beginning of a match. If your opponent is relying heavily on just basic zoning, or really basic low attacks, uppercuts and stuff, chances are they're not going to do many combos, so trying to break out of like a 2-hit punch they get on you is not necessarily going to benefit you. because they don't know what, chances are they won't know what to do combo wise. However, early on, if you get caught in somebody's combo and you see they know what they're doing, you'll want to keep an eye out so you know that you should probably break against this person at times because they want to go for damage. However, just because they start a combo does not mean you should immediately burn the 2 bars to do it. Usually I will break out of a combo when I have an advantage health-wise and they catch me in a combo. When it's early on and they're trying to get the health advantage, or when our healths, both our healths are fairly even or below the 50% line and they start chaining a combo, I'll usually break it. When it comes to early on combos though, like I'm saying, I won't break it until I know for sure they're going to do high damage combos, and I won't do it unless I have 2 bars already reserved. I won't try to end the combo too late when I finally get the 2 meters from damage receiving, because at that point they're already getting the most damage they can get, and I'll lose meter, and chances are I'll get hit with it again at some point. So it's really important that you pay attention to your opponent's comboing techniques when you're going to go for breaking combos. Don't just burn it out. And most importantly, here's a hypothetical situation, because this happens. Your health is relatively low, your opponent still has about 45% of their health left, and they start comboing you, and if they finish this combo, you're dead. You have 2 bars. In this situation, if it's the first round I'm in, I'm just gonna let them have the round, because if I try to break out of it and I fail, then I'm gonna have a serious meter disadvantage at the start of the second round. I'd rather them take the win and let me have the advantage, or have meters to spare at the beginning of the next round. Next, I'm going to talk about X-rays. This is probably one of the biggest gimmicks to the combat system in Mortal Kombat, and everyone has one. They're all, or most of them, are different in terms of amount of hits, amount of damage, and when you can use them. Most of them can get comboed into pretty easily, but there are 2 exceptions, Kano and Jax, because theirs are grabs that you can't just you can't combo into them. Those are best used as baits and counterattacks. Now, using X-rays isn't necessarily something you want to focus your managing of your meter on, because I know a lot of people who will try and build the meter just so they can do an X-ray combo. And when they do this, it's not necessarily, you know, helping them, because they're just hitting block strings or doing a few random attacks or receiving damage just so they can get that X-ray. I say this because X-rays, while you do get guaranteed damage and they can't be broken out of, they put you at such a disadvantage because of it burns your entire meter. So using X-rays you need to be very smart with. The only time I will use an X-ray is when I'm trying to confirm a combo that's going to give me an enormous advantage, and or if I need to close out a round, and I know I can do it safely. So, for example, if I've got a pretty good health advantage and my opponent is at, I don't know, 40% health, I'll try and get an X-ray combo going so I can get the extra damage and put them in a position where it'll be very hard for them to make a comeback. Now, one thing people are guilty of, it, and I know I used to do this too, is just throwing out the X-ray at random points with no real strategy. This is like, you know, what people did with Ultras in Street Fighter 4. You don't want to do this, because if you miss your X-ray, not only are you susceptible to being severely punished and not being able to break out of a combo, you lose your entire meter. You don't want to waste your X-ray. Or you don't want to waste your meter on an X-ray. So really, it's You want to learn ways to confirm your X-ray in practice mode, but don't necessarily make that your metagame, because you can get good use out of your meter with enhanced moves and breakers. I usually, like I said, don't want to resort to an X-ray unless I'm trying to close something out, because they won't be able to get out of it. However, that doesn't mean you can't use your X-rays defensively. Like, if you're trying to just get raw damage towards the end, and your opponent's getting finicky and trying desperately to throw attacks at you, if you have an X-ray that has super armor, which most of them do, you can properly punish an attack, like a projectile or something. You can go ahead and do that. It's just harder to bait that out and get that to work. This is something I'll use with Liu Kang's X-ray specifically, because I can combo after the X-ray. But like I said, you don't necessarily want to make this your metagame. So really, it's all a matter, when it comes to managing meter, you need to pay attention to the situation at hand, and know whether it's smart to burn meter at that point or not. You don't necessarily have to use breakers and X-rays when you get them. You want to use them smartly. It's the same thing with enhanced moves. You don't want to just burn it out, because a lot of enhanced moves are also incredibly unsafe if they're blocked, like Smoke's enhanced teleport punch. So just get familiar with the enhanced moves and stuff, and always want to pay attention to your health, your opponent's health, and your opponent's meter when it comes to using breakers and X-ray combos. Anyways, that's just my insight on managing meter. I hope it was helpful to you all. I am the Psycho Ripper of the KO Force, and look forward to more stuff to come.